Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we render service, enthusiasm is very, very important. Without enthusiasm, we cannot advance in devotional service. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami, when he was describing the 6 angas of bhakti, or 6 elements which are very important to advance in devotional service, he starts with utsaha. Utsaha nischaya dhairya tattat karma pravartanat sanga tyago sato vritte shadabir bhakti prasiddhyati. So in this way, Rupa Goswami starts with utsaha, enthusiasm. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he elaborates utsaha in his book Bhaktyāloka. And very beautifully he describes that why utsaha is needed. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that without utsaha, one becomes negligent in his worship. Whatever service we are doing, so we'll become negligent in that. And then he gives another technical information here. He says negligence is born out of inactivity, apathy, and indifference. 3 things he mentions. So we'll try to discuss these 3 topics. And there are many more subtopics which we'll try to cover in other seminars. But these three are something which we'll try to discuss. Inactivity, the first one. Inactivity basically means laziness or inertia. What do you mean by inertia? Inertia means having no desire to work, having no desire to serve. That is inertia. Now see, when it comes to spirit, that spirit soul, it's our nature to serve, it's our nature to work. Activity is our nature. Just imagine if someone gets this laziness or inertia, what will happen to that person? He is going against the nature of the spirit. And if he allows this inertia to remain in his existence, tell me, how is it possible for that devotee to advance in devotional service? Therefore, the first thing is inactivity, which is the cause of negligence. Second one is apathy. Apathy basically means lack of interest. And this apathy develops from carelessness. When we become careless about rendering devotional service, whatever we're doing, if we become careless, so at that time, this apathy will come into picture. And one thing we have to understand, a careless person is the one who will deviate from the path of devotional service. Or be careless, so he'll just deviate from the path of devotional service. There is no scope of going on the straight path and reach the ultimate destination. Therefore, Krishna in 6th chapter, 23rd shloka, he says, one should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. Such an important statement. One should not engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith. So whatever activities we are doing, whatever service we are doing, it has to be done with determination and faith. And one should not be deviated from the path. But people who have this apathy, they get deviated from the path. Third thing is indifference. So we're discussing about how negligence is born out of inactivity, apathy, and indifference. So in indifference, see, one of the important aspect to understand about indifference. Now, this indifference is not about indifference which these normal sinful people will have. Here, talking about transcendentalists. Indifference of a transcendentalist. Now, indifference is indifference to this material world. That is indifference. Doesn't matter what's happening around. Detached from this material world. That's indifference. Now, for those who have attained the 3 categories now that we're going to discuss. The first one, those who have attained indifference of the material activities, but not yet realized spiritual activities, they are the ones who are aspiring to attain Brahma Gyan. So basically jnanis. They have attained indifference of this material world and they have not realized the spiritual activities. So gone. So you're detached from here, but you're not attached. So gone. The next thing is, there are people who have not attained any indifference of this material world also. So they're stuck. So for them, purification of the heart is very important. So karma yoga is the only way for them. So they have to purify their heart. And the third thing is, the ones who have realized the spiritual activities and understood the material activities as insignificant, they actually become indifferent to this material world. This actual indifference that is there. In the first two cases, utsaha is very difficult to have. But in the third case, where he has realized the spiritual activities and then understood how the material activities are insignificant, they attain indifference for all material activities. So this is the point. So we noted. They accept some material activities for what? Because they also do material activities. Bhaktas also do material activities for what? Their mood is, I accept material activities to support my spiritual awakening. But they have no attachment for such activities. So they are doing material activities, but look at this very wonderful thing. They are not attached to those activities and they are using it for their spiritual advancement. Another very important thing, freedom from material association. Now, when we talk about detachment from this world, so freedom from material association is directly proportional to the degree to which the devotees come together and discuss about the Lord. It's not about naiti, not this, not this. It's about coming together and doing some productive activity. And that productive activity, according to Shastra, is Shravanam. Very, very important. So one has to hear about the Lord. One has to discuss about the Lord. Therefore, the symptoms of devotees are given in 11th canto, chapter 20, shlokas 27-28. Having awakened faith in narrations of my glories, Lord Krishna is speaking this. Being disgusted with material activities, knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction. Very nice shloka. Very hope-giving. I repeat. Having awakened faith in narrations of my glories. We sit and hear Bhagavatam class. Being disgusted with material activities, frustrated with what is happening around. Knowing that all sense gratification leads to misery. After attending so many Bhagavatam class, it's very clear. But still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment when we have feast. My devotee should remain happy. Don't worry, it's okay. And worship me with great faith and conviction, but continue worshipping the Lord. And then he says, even though he is sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment, my devotee knows that all sense gratification leads to a miserable result. And here he does an important activity. What he does, he sincerely repents such activities. Now what to do? He's pulled to do sense enjoyment. So he does it. And after that what he does, he sincerely repents for that. This is the symptom of a devotee. So it's very much connecting. We all can connect very nicely. But the last thing we should be able to do, that is sincerely repent, for those sense gratification activities. Now to describe that karma arises from lust. Whatever activities people do, it arises from lust. And jnana arises from indifference, because the person, he is detached from this material world by various ways. But bhakti arises from faith in the Supreme Lord. Bhakti cannot arise from either of the material things of this material world. It can arise only from the transcendental faith in the Lord. That's very important to note, that how a devotee becomes detached from this world. He doesn't endeavor extra. The person who's attained faith is naturally disgusted with material activities. He doesn't like. I've seen so many devotees like that. Well, right from the start, when they start practicing bhakti, even for quite some time, say a few months, naturally you get that disgust more that this is all gone case. I don't want to go. I don't want to go to parties. I don't want to go for my team lunch and team dinner or whatever. I don't want to hang around with my colleagues or friends or relatives. It's all, and at times people say also that I went to that marriage ceremony, I went to this ceremony. They're all talking rubbish, all material things, discussing about job and career. What is to discuss about that? I've heard people saying that. You see the change that happens. This change happens because that person has attained some faith in Krishna consciousness. So naturally becomes disgusted with material activities. And as he advances, he accepts without attachment only those activities that are favorable for increasing his faith in the Lord. A conscious devotee will increase his faith consciously in the Lord. And how does he increase his faith in the Lord consciously? Anukulyasya sankalpa. Accepts only those activities which are favorable to devotional service. Pratikulyasya varjanam. Gives up all those activities which are unfavorable for devotional service. Therefore, he is not a fanatic person. He understands that this body is needed for practicing bhakti. So he takes care of this body also. So taking care of this body for the service of the Lord is an important service. Very, very important. Therefore, those who enjoy the results of material activities with ardent affection are called attached. So people in this world who enjoy the material activities with ardent affection, they are called as attached. Okay, now who are detached? Then here comes the definition. Those who neglect the results of karma but accept only what is favorable to devotional service are called unattached. So sometimes externally seeing, we will see, oh, the devotees are also attached. No, there's a difference in the mood that is there. So outside people, they have this, they do material activities with ardent affection for that. But when it comes to devotees, they do activities, but only that which is favorable to devotional service. And they neglect the results of the same. They are not attached. They are not having this affection for the activities that they're doing. They're doing it just because they have to do it. Many times, when I counsel some grahastha devotees, I tell them and ask, "Kitna age ho gaya aapka abhi?" They'll tell 40, 45. Bas 5 saal bacha hai. Only 5 more years to go. Countdown begins. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And 0 should happen. So at that time, devotees do say that, I want to, it's not that Prabhuji, I'm working with love and affection for my boss. But what to do? Majburi hai, karna padta hai, kya kare? We have to work materially, we have to do various material activities, what to do? So devotees, they are not working with affection. If someone is working with affection, then that person is degrading himself. He is working just because it is important. It will support it acts as support for my devotional service. So I have to work. With that mood, a devotee remains unattached. So mood difference is there, you see. Although they are unattached to material activity, but they work enthusiastically in devotional life. In material life, they might be, they don't want to do, somehow they're doing it, pushing themselves. But then when it comes to devotional activity, they're very attached. They do it very enthusiastically. So in this way, we see the indifference of a devotee is so amazing. Indifference of a devotee helps the devotee to be enthusiastic in devotional service. And how to be indifferent, so that's also we discussed. That the devotee who attains faith and cultivates faith in the Lord naturally becomes indifferent to this material world. When he discusses about the Lord, when he repents for the activities of sense gratification, all these different things will help him to become indifferent to this material world, but be very affectionate to the spiritual activities, the services rendered to the Lord. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he elaborates on a very important point, the process of advancement for practitioner of devotional service. Now, see, our acharyas, they don't give their thought process. They quote shlokas from Bhagavatam, they elaborate those shlokas. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes the process of advancement for a practitioner in devotional service. And he quotes 11th canto, chapter 20, shloka number 29, 30 and 35. These 3 shlokas he is quoting. And these shlokas say, when an intelligent person engages constantly in worshipping me, through loving devotional service as described by me. See, very important. So when he is engaging constantly in my service as described by me, his heart becomes firmly situated in me. So this is the secret of getting firmly situated in Krishna. Thus all material desires within the heart are destroyed. Here is the sutra for destroying the material desires in the heart. What is that? We have to constantly engage in service of the Lord. How we have to engage? The way the Lord has described it. And such a person will become firmly situated in me. Therefore, we always say parampara is so important. If we just do whimsically whatever we want, this thing will never happen. We'll never become firmly situated in the Lord. And then at the same time, our material desires in the heart will not go. And we'll struggle with the material desires. When we struggle with the material desires, we don't advance in spiritual life. When we don't advance in spiritual life, there is no taste in spiritual life. And then we say, "Arey, kuch nahi kaam kar raha hai." It doesn't work. See, the root cause is here. Our whimsical thought process is the root cause. The knot in the heart is pierced. All misgivings are cut to pieces, and chain of fruitive actions is terminated when I am seen as Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said that complete detachment is the highest stage of freedom. Therefore, now all these things can be achieved when one who has no personal desire and does not pursue personal rewards can achieve loving devotional service unto me. So this is the mood aspect that is described in the shloka. Two aspects. First, one who has no personal desire. And second, does not pursue personal rewards. Basically, he's not working for himself. He's working for the Lord. It doesn't matter, he is given some name, fame, prestige, he still continues serving the Lord. He doesn't hanker for that. Pujala Pratishtha. And he achieves loving devotional service unto the Lord. Here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives purport to this particular shloka and he says, it is useless trying independently to destroy ignorance and lust in the heart. It's useless. We cannot destroy ignorance and lust in the heart. Then what are we supposed to do? He says, but ignorance, lust, fruitive activities, all doubts and material bondage are destroyed by the mercy of the Lord in the course of cultivating devotional service. See, this is not something which we can do. We cannot remove our anarthas our own self. In Krishna Lila, you will not see that any demon who came to Vrindavan killed himself. Is that? Putana came and she killed herself. Trinavarta killed himself. No. Krishna was killing them. And all these demons who came to Vrindavan, they represent different anarthas. So only Krishna can kill the anarthas. We cannot. Not possible. Therefore, it's very important to note that by rendering devotional service, in the course of cultivating devotional service, Krishna will shower his mercy and he will destroy the anarthas. So when we say that we have to destroy our anarthas, what do we mean by that? Sincerely cultivating devotional service, Lord will shower his mercy and then the anarthas will get destroyed. This is what it means. But when it comes to others, that is karmis and jnanis, they will not get such a result. Not possible. Therefore, when one becomes neutral by giving up other desires and hopes, he attains pure devotional service to Krishna. मेरा कुछ नहीं हो सकता, केवल भगवान ही बचा सकते हैं. This mode is something very important. अनेक जतन होइलो विफल एखन भरोसा तुम्ही. I've tried all the possible ways, O Lord. But now I've realized that only you are my only shelter. You are my only hope. Such a surrendered devotee, he attains pure devotional service. See, our acharyas, they're giving us very clearly, crystal clear pointers are given. And what are we supposed to do when we hear or read such articles? We have to see, where am I missing? Which point am I missing? And then implement that in our day-to-day life. Now, someone might say that, no, I've got so many anarthas in myself. And sometimes devotees feel very depressed at times. What to do? Now I've spent 5 years in Krishna consciousness. I've got initiated also. Now kuch nahi ho raha hai. Anarthas are like that only. I'm the same wicked person even now. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that in the very beginning of devotional service, the sadhaka must have faith with full enthusiasm. You see, when new devotees come, how enthusiastic they are. Yes, full enthusiasm and full faith. So when they start doing bhajana kriya, then comes the problem. Once they start doing sadhana, then what happens? There are two types of sadhana. Nishtita bhajana kriya and anishtita bhajana kriya. Someday we'll discuss these topics elaborately about anishtita bhajana kriya. Now, until he attains his fixed devotional service, that is nishtita bhajana kriya, his service remains flickering. And because of that flickering service, because of that mood changes that's happening, the anarthas which are popping up, so at that time he might feel, what am I doing? His enthusiasm might go down. And the 6 symptoms of anishtita bhajana kriya. Again, very technical. Someday we'll discuss this elaborately in one of the future sessions. First one is utsahamai, false confidence. I'll just name it. No, I'll not describe these now. Ghana tarala, sporadic endeavor. Vyuda vikalpa, indecision, not able to decide things. Vishaya sangara, struggle with the senses. You see, every devotee will go through this. And then niyamakshama, inability to uphold vows. We take vows. Yes, this new year I'll do this. In front of the Lord, when we go to Dham or other place, I take this vow. Kartik Vrata, when the first day we take vow. And then in between, devotees come and say, Prabhuji, wo miss ho gaya. Ye nahi kar paya, wo nahi kar paya. Then Tarang Rangini. Kitna sundar naam hai. Tarang Rangini. Enjoying the facilities offered by Bhakti. Now, with time, as we grow in Krishna consciousness, we will have various things that will come. Followers will come. They'll fall at feet. Prabhuji, you are my everything. Yes. Except this, you tell me anything, I'll do. You are my everything. They'll fall at your feet. And then they'll be very eager, to come and do various personal service. They'll keep asking, Prabhuji, बताइए ना क्या चाहिए? आप कुछ मांगते ही नहीं, बताइए तो क्या चाहिए आपको? Yes. They'll do everything possible. And now, if the devotee, he gets into exploitative mode. Normally, this will happen in Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, where he starts enjoying the facilities that he is getting. Only because we are doing Bhakti, Bhakti Devi is giving us, these various facilities. And if we start enjoying those facilities, then it's a problem. Therefore, these 6 symptoms are given. And because of these 6 symptoms, at times when a devotee realizes, hey, what sort of devotee I am? I'm a nonsensical person. So there's a possibility that his enthusiasm might go down. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he talks about the 9 stages of bhakti. Adho Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangotha Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishtha Ruchis Tatha. So we all know this. Initial bhakti or initial phase of devotional service starts with what? It starts with Shraddha. And then, when the Shraddha continues, then he attains Sadhu Sangha. Then he associates with devotees. And by the association of devotees, he starts his bhajana kriya. He starts engaging in devotional service. And when he starts engaging in devotional service, that is anishtita bhajana kriya. His nishtha is not there. It's like everyone is telling, so let's do it. I remember, I personally do that so many times. I ask, how many rounds you're chanting? I say, about 12 rounds. Why not chanting 16? Start 16. Okay, probably. Now that person is not interested to do. But then since he's pushed, okay, hey, Mangalarti mein nahi aa raha? Kya ho gaya? Kal se aata hu. I'm not interested, but then okay, I'll come. Since you're pushing me, I'll come. So in this way, anishtita, it's not that he really wants to do, but then he's pushed, so he'll do. That's the glory of association of devotees. You see, without association of devotees, how will we practice devotional service? I still remember, one devotee was not increasing his rounds. He was still like chanting them 2 rounds or 4 rounds. And then, this was Jagannath Rath Yatra, our Jagannath Rath Yatra. So I was there at the start point because I was giving direction to the Rath driver. And one of the senior devotee was having the broom and he was brooming in front of me. So cart and then the devotee brooming, and then I'm standing behind with the walkie-talkie, and then I was giving directions. And then one of the devotee came, one of my Gita course student, and then he requested that senior devotee, Prabhuji, can I get the broomstick? Can I also do the seva? And then he took and the senior devotee left. And then I saw this person holding the broomsticks. I held the broomstick. I said, ये केवल जो 8 माला करते हैं वो कर सकते हैं. तो मेरा मुंह देखने लगा वो. Then I said, will you do 8 rounds? He's like, yes, Prabhuji. मुझे नहीं, वहां देख के बोलो. And then I mean, मुंह से बोलो कि करोगे. And then he started doing. He said, हाँ, जगन्नाथ को देख के बोला, जगन्नाथ जी मैं 8 माला करूंगा. And after that, he had no option. He took a vow. And guess what? He started doing. He started doing 8 rounds. He's not interested. He started doing. Yes. And now he's increasing his rounds by his own self. Recently he told me he's doing 10. So it's very important. Initially we'll get that push. But that will be anishtita. Sometimes we might miss. And all these 6 symptoms which I spoke about, all that will also come into picture. So in the beginning there is no nishtha or firm faith. In that service, because various types of anarthas keep crushing the heart. Why that nishtha is not there? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling. Because various anarthas which are popping up, they'll crush the heart. The devotee will start feeling very low. Because anarthas will keep crushing him in various ways. Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. Just think about envy. Some devotee came with us the same time to devotional service. That devotee went ahead and then we are at the same place. Envy, that will pop in. Will not be happy. Will not be happy. So all these things will act as a big block, in advancement of devotional service. So it crushes. But one thing we have to understand is that if we perform devotional service with full enthusiasm every day, these anarthas will go down. These anarthas will not be able to do much. The more anarthas are vanquished, the more nishtha is awakened. So this is proportional. So you do devotional service enthusiastically, anarthas will reduce, anarthas reduces, nishtha will increase. So this is proportional to each other here. The word sadhana, shraddha, is certainly faith. The word shraddha is faith. But here Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very strong point. He says, but enthusiasm is the life of shraddha. So without enthusiasm, shraddha has no meaning. Therefore, only those people who are practicing bhakti with enthusiasm, they are the ones who are going to advance in spiritual life. The ones who don't have enthusiasm, see, initially force is okay. But then hamesha isko force chahiye. You see such people, I'm sure all of you might have come across such people. Such people cannot advance. Hamesha मारते रहो इनको. जब तक मार नहीं खाएंगे तब तक आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे. You will see such people, they don't have much enthusiasm. They'll not be able to advance in devotional life. Outside people, they say, श्रद्धा दिल में होनी चाहिए. दिल साफ रखो. जैसे हर दिन डिटर्जेंट से धोते हैं लोग. दिल साफ रखो. ये सब क्या है? माला वाला हाथ में पकड़ के, ये क्या धोती कुर्ता, ये क्या एंटीना पीछे लटकाया हुआ है? क्या जरूरत है ये सब? So many people, they ask all this. So many people think they have faith in God and they'll tell all these different dialogues. But because they have no enthusiasm, how do you see the enthusiasm of people? Through their service, through their commitment, we see enthusiasm. Since they have no enthusiasm, their faith has no meaning. Their dialogues have no meaning. And this leads to lack of sadhu sangha. Now, those people who have some faith, but they have no enthusiasm, such people will not come in touch with devotees. And since they don't come in touch with devotees, what happens? They don't perform devotional service. Simple. Therefore, enthusiasm is the core. Utsaha is the core of devotional service. Without utsaha, the devotee cannot advance in devotional service. This is the point that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making multiple times. And one of the important reasons for not performing devotional service very nicely, this will help us know in our daily chanting. Please hear this carefully. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, carelessness is counted among the offenses against holy name. Carelessness or inattentiveness. So this carelessness or inattentiveness is something that is going to hinder our devotional service. And in Harinam Chintamani, Srila Haridas Thakur, he describes and Bhaktivinoda Thakur elaborates that there are 3 types of inattentiveness. Now, someday I want to have this 3 types of inattentiveness as the topic for discussion. Very, very important. I'll just name it. We can discuss it sometime later. Udasinya, apathetic devotional service, means lack of fixed resolve in sadhana. No fixed resolve in sadhana. But upar niche chal raha hai. Audasinya, this is called as Audasinya. Jadya, second one. Laziness or inertia. And we have discussed about inertia, what it is. So laziness. And Vikshepa. Vikshepa means distraction. What do you mean by distraction? Distraction means misplacing one's attention in engagements which are not connected to devotional service. So while chanting, when our mind goes here and there, so we have to understand what's happening. We're distracted. And our activities also that we do in our, let's say 22 hours, the activities that we do and place our faith and attention in those non-devotional activities, that will affect the 2 hours that is there. So that leads to Vikshepa, that is distraction. So these are the 3 categories of inattentiveness. Audasinya, Jadya and Vikshepa. And now Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very heavy point. He says, until one gets free from these 3 types of inattentiveness, one cannot perform devotional service at all. And another strong statement he makes. Even if one gives up all namaprads, all the 10 namaprads, we try our best and then we try to get rid of all the 10. Starting from first to blaspheme the devotees and 10th to not have complete attachment to the holy name. So those 10 items, the 10 offenses which are there, we tick all of that. This 10, I have achieved. I'm not committing these 10 offenses now. He says, if he is inattentive, he can still never have attraction for the holy name. Not possible. If those 10 offenses are taken care, not committing those 10 offenses, but if the person is inattentive, he cannot develop attraction to the holy name. So every day, morning when we're sitting and chanting, it's very important that we realize this point. See, finally, what is going to save us in our Krishna consciousness is attraction that we develop towards the holy name of the Lord. If we are not getting that attraction, gone. If in the morning the only thing that we do is sleep in the chanting, or plan during the chanting, or just go around and think about various different things, gone. That's inattentiveness. We might be very humble in our attitude, we might not be committing any offense, or whatever it is, but this attraction to the holy name will not come only. And forget about those people who are offensive. Unka to kuch nahi ho sakta. They have to modify themselves. But this also has to be taken care. So every day, at least from last few days, from the time I've read this, it's very much helping me to do my chanting nicely, at least some rounds. Because this point is very important. That if this is the thing that I'm doing every day, it means I'm not advancing in devotional service. Attraction तो होगा ही नहीं भगवान के प्रति. भगवान के नाम के प्रति कुछ भी attraction नहीं आएगा. We'll never get attached to आकर्षण आएगा ही नहीं. So this inattentiveness is something which is very, very important to note. And these 3 types of inattentiveness, lack of resolve in doing sadhana, laziness. Sometimes devotees are okay to sleep in chanting. You're like, Prabhuji, yesterday I was so tired, I want to take a rest now. Okay, go to your room and take a... No, it's okay, Prabhuji. I'll take a rest here. I'll take a rest here, no problem. And then Vikshepa, that is, due to one's own material attachment, attention putting in the material activities. And you can see Vikshepa in the planning that we do, during chanting. Planning of various different things. I'll be covering all these different things in Japa motivation videos, which we will start from 1st of January. Because these are some things that this dose is needed. Every dose is needed. And this dose, when I am speaking, I am also getting the dose, booster injection. You're speaking stupid, you also follow. That's what the Lord is telling me. So it's very, very important that we take care of this one word, inattentiveness while chanting. Jitna ho sake utna. We should tell ourselves, no, I cannot. I have to focus on chanting. Oh Lord, please help me to focus. Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, please help me to focus. I want to develop attraction to the holy name. If I don't develop attraction to holy name, my life is going to be miserable in future for sure. I'll be an in advance senior devotee. And that will be a really amazing situation. Yes. People are coming and they're sharing their heart with you, and whatever anarthas they have, they're speaking, and you are getting affected by those anarthas. And then whatever they speak, you start meditating on that because you don't have attraction in the holy name. So what you'll meditate on is the anarthas of others. Very, very important. Very, very important. Therefore, one has to be attentive in chanting, and one has to develop attraction to the holy name as we advance in devotional service. Or else, in advance, senior devotee is the title that we will get. And you know what? Devotees can make out who is advanced and who is not. Easily they can make out. Because they can see when they talk to us. When they talk to us, they can make out what is the level of consciousness that this person has. Number of years doesn't matter. But how much attraction the person has developed, that decides the sincerity. That decides seniority. That decides seniority. So a very pathetic situation is awaiting all of us if we are not attentive in our chanting. Always remember this. And just imagine, I'm talking for the full-time devotees, just imagine if all of us develop attraction towards the holy name. Now that Sangha will be so strong and so powerful that whoever comes in touch with that Sangha, they will get advanced in devotional service, their life will get transformed. So real service that we devotees can offer, especially full-time devotees who have given up the material life and they are here to do just devotional service. If they can do this, everyone has to do, but mandatorily for full-time devotees, we have to develop that attraction towards the holy name. And once we do that, it will be a great service to the mission. Today morning, I started my japa with this meditation, this japa motivation, that I've given up everything and I've come here, I've sat here, for what? To chant the holy names of the Lord. Because when I was joining, the mode was I wanted to be a full-time devotee. What do you mean by a full-time devotee? Full-time devotee means my consciousness should be engaged fully in service of the Lord. But instead of consciousness being engaged in the Lord, on the holy name while chanting, if my consciousness is going here and there, I cannot call myself as a full-time devotee. I am still a part-time devotee. Because my consciousness is still partly engrossed in something else. Therefore, we have to do justice to this title that devotees give us. Full-time. Who is a full-time devotee? Or full-time brahmachari? So that we should do some justice to what title we have got as full-time devotee. Srila Prabhupada says in a song that I have got Bhakti Vedanta title, but oh Lord, you fulfill the meaning of Bhakti Vedanta. Similarly, we also have to pray to the Lord. I have got this title of full-time devotee. Oh Lord, you please help me to fulfill the meaning of this full-time devotee. Very important. So what is the solution? Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a solution. If one has enthusiasm in the beginning of devotional service, and that enthusiasm does not become cold, then one will never become apathetic, lazy or distracted in chanting the holy names. So the solution that he is giving is utsaha should be there throughout devotional service. You will see that devotee who is always enthusiastic will advance very nicely. Therefore, enthusiasm is the only support for all types of devotional service. That's the conclusion that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving. By enthusiastically performing devotional service, one can give up anishtha service in a very short time and thus attain nishtha. All those devotees are hankering to go to the stage above anartha nivritti for them. The ones who are struggling at Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya, kya kar sakte hai? But the ones who are struggling at anartha nivritti and they want to go beyond anartha nivritti to that stage of nishtha and reach the higher stage of ruchi, asakti, bhava, prema, etc. I don't know what etc. is there in that. Something is there beyond also. So those devotees, they have to make sure that they enthusiastically perform the devotional service. Because here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's statement is this, that by enthusiastically performing devotional service, one can give up anishtita bhajana kriya. And in a very short time, he's not saying it will be a long time. Achirena, very short time. Such a devotee will come to the stage of nishtha. So in this way, enthusiasm, utsaha is very, very important. We are eternally indebted to Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, who has made it so clear for all of us that these, can you imagine, these are technical points. Without these technical points, we techies cannot understand all these different things. थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लेक्स होना चाहिए, फिर उसको 10 बार पढ़ेंगे, उसको फिर पॉइंट वाइज लगाएंगे, फिर फ्लो चार्ट बनाएंगे, फिर ओके उत्साह उत्साह is needed, उत्साह is needed. Therefore, we should be very grateful to them. If they don't highlight these different points, tell me how can we advance in devotional service? Therefore, the pointer for our self-introspection from this session is, am I enthusiastic all the time in my devotional service or not? If not, then I have to do something about it. Am I attentive in my chanting? If not, I have to do something about it. Do I fall in these three categories of negligence? That is inactivity, apathy, and indifference. If yes, then I have to do something about it. And solution is also given for that. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.